You know, we all have this picture in our heads of what makes a great manager. They're inspiring, they make the tough calls, and they deliver results. Simple, right? Well, today we're going to dig into some really fascinating research that kind of throws a wrench in that whole idea. Let's see what the data actually has to say.
Okay, here's a big question for you. If you had to bet on the single most important thing that makes or breaks a company's success, what would it be?
And look, for most people, the answer feels, well, obvious, right? It's got to be the leaders, the managers. Their skill is what drives performance. It just makes sense, and it's what we've been told forever. But, and this is where things get super interesting, what if that straight line we all draw from a brilliant manager directly to amazing results isn't so straight after all? What if something else is going on under the surface that we're missing?
So, to get to the bottom of this, we're going to dive into a study that tackled this exact question. Researchers zoomed in on the manufacturing world, and let me tell you, they found a pretty major twist in the tale of the great manager.
And hey, this wasn't some abstract ivory tower kind of thing. Nope. They talked to 117 people who are actually in the trenches of Indonesian manufacturing. More than half were managers, and a huge chunk of them, 38%, had been doing this for almost a decade. So these aren't guesses. This is based on some serious, real-world experience.
Okay, to really crack this case, we need to understand two key clues the researchers uncovered. The first one is a word you hear everywhere these days: digitalization.
Now, in this context, we're talking about using tech to make the whole supply chain talk to itself. It's about creating this seamless, real-time connection between every single step, from the folks who give you raw materials all the way to the customer holding your product.
So what does that actually look like on the ground? Well, the study points to things like buying supplies through an online system, knowing exactly what's in your warehouse second by second, and even letting your suppliers see your production schedule. It's all about creating this incredibly connected, data-driven ecosystem.
All right, so that's clue number one, having the right tech. But that tech is useless without the second clue, which is just as important, and that is adaptability.
Simply put, adaptability is all about how well a company can roll with the punches. It's about being flexible, not rigid, because, let's be real, things always go wrong. The question is, how fast can you react without everything falling apart?
I mean, just imagine this for a second. You get a massive, unexpected order, or your main supplier suddenly hits a snag. An adaptable company doesn't panic. They can shift gears, change plans, and find a solution because they've built that flexibility right into their DNA.
Okay, we've got our clues: digitalization, adaptability. Now it's time to put it all together and finally solve this puzzle of what great managers really do.
And boom, here it is, the big shocker, right from the paper. When they crunched all the data, there was no significant direct connection between a manager's skill and the company's performance. I mean, wow, that flies in the face of just about everything we assume, doesn't it?
So if it's not a straight line, what on earth is happening? Well, the researchers built this model that shows the real path to success. And the key thing to see here is that it's not a direct shot. It's more like a chain reaction, and we're going to break it down piece by piece. So here's the first domino to fall. Great managers are absolutely critical, but not for the reason we think. Their biggest impact, their real superpower, is successfully rolling out better digitalization. They're the ones who can actually get these powerful tech tools implemented and used correctly.
And that kicks off the next part of the chain reaction. Once you have that solid digital foundation, with all that real-time data flowing in, that's what allows the company to become more flexible. It gives them the visibility they need to adapt. After all, you can't react to problems you can't even see.
And that brings us to the final link. That ability to be adaptable, to pivot and react to the market on the fly, that is what ultimately drives performance. That's where you get the higher productivity, the better quality, and the on-time deliveries. It all comes from being adaptable.
And if you want the hard numbers, check this out. The study measured that direct link between manager skill and performance. The score? A tiny 0.089. In statistical terms, that's basically zero. It's insignificant. The real magic isn't in that direct line, it's happening through that indirect path we just walked through.
So let's just boil this all down. This is the key takeaway, right here. The role of a great manager has evolved. They aren't just pushing people to perform better. They are the architects. They build the digital and adaptive systems that empower the entire organization to win.
Okay, so this is all fascinating stuff, but what do you actually do with this information? How do you apply it? Well, this study basically hands us a clear 3-step playbook for success.
Step 1. You've got to develop managers who get tech and can lead that kind of change. Step 2. You have to actually invest in the digital tools that connect your whole operation. And step 3, which is crucial, you have to build a culture that uses those tools to be fast and flexible. See the pattern? It's the right people using the right tools to build the right culture.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to chew on. It's so tempting to search for that one hero manager who can save the day. But maybe, just maybe, this research shows us we should be looking for system builders instead. So ask yourself, is your business just hiring managers, or are you empowering them to be the architects of a successful future?